We are back here on the WHHI-TV Daily News. Here for his monthly update is Mayor Alan Perry. Good to see you as always.
Great to see you in the midst of summer.
In the midst of summer. It's a little steamy out there.
Yes, it is.
But that's all right. We should be expecting it.
We should be. You know, why do we complain?
I don't know. I touched on in headlines that this is kind of something that's been a topic of conversation, you know, a lot recently, and that is the gas station that's under the flyover. You know, unfortunately for it, it was hit with Debbie last August pretty severely. It's been closed since then. And now it's kind of become a little bit of an eyesore. It's got graffiti and plywood and so forth. And I know that you have, you know, kind of been a champion to try and get the county to do something about it. So where do we stand with that?
Yeah, so we know that there's multiple facets that go into addressing the structure. It's corporate, it's insurance, it's you know, permitting, it's all of that. So, you know, the county is addressing it as best they can. And, you know, do they go in and condemn the property? We can't answer for that, and I haven't heard anything back from them on that. But I know that they're pushing for some resolution there, and it really does need to be fixed, because not only is there graffiti on that building, but there's also graffiti on the bridges underneath. And as the boaters go by, they see it. So that's not what we are, right? And so we've got to control that.
Yeah, and of course, that's one of the first things people see driving onto the island
That's
as well.
correct.
So,
yes.
We're back to a topic we touch on.
Very interesting, right?
Touch on frequently, but that's, of course, the bridge.
Right.
What's the latest?
So the latest is that on June 2nd, a change to roughly $6.8 billion, $6.9 billion came around from the federal government. And if you have a bridge project over $100 million, then you're able to get funding for that project. Well, it came to county council, county staff, and then went to county council, and they see an avenue to request $200 some million to address the entire project. And most likely what would happen is council would vote to either go for this application or not, but I would imagine they would go for it.
And that has to be done by August 1st.
That's correct. It has to be done by August 1st. And then they would work the entire project. I think if it goes that route, it then becomes a state project, and they run with it, so it removes the county and the town a little bit further away from that discussion. So it's a wait and see, see what happens, and it's going to take several months for a decision to be made. It's a small chance that we'll get the funding, but it does exist.
And in the meantime, going forward with the eastbound.
Yes, so that is still moving forward. The design and projected timeline is all still in place. But if the funds come around, then they can move forward with the full project.
Yeah, got it. So we want to move into talking about strategic planning, maybe the top 2, 3, 4 goals that you're seeing.
Absolutely. So we had about a 6.5 hour meeting talking about the different strategies that we discussed back in February. And what came out as the number one priority was managed growth. And we all feel that changing the land management ordinance is what is needed to make certain that growth patterns are slowed down a little bit, that we're having better setbacks and better tree protection, and those things that we used to have that we got rid of several years ago. And it's just reinstating those enforcements to have a better area. Outside of that is stormwater management. So we've got a big stormwater issue that we need to address over the next decade. And that is a big topic. And then, of course, streets and corridors, how do we redevelop streets and corridors to make them safer? And then, of course, lastly, the top 4 was public safety.
Okay. Well, all good things. And we've got about a minute left. So, as you mentioned, when we first started, it is summer. It's hot out there, but we all have lots of kind of fun things going on. But we wanted to touch on that it's the 3rd annual Songwriters Festival. And, it's been such a success.
The third weekend in September, 4 days. I don't have the dates off the top of my head right now, but around the 19th. It is the 3rd annual. We have announced the musicians coming in, and Lowcountry is coming back for the 3rd year in a row. They had a number 1 hit this year, my hometown. And so it's really exciting to see this group come back. It's going to be maybe a little bit different than it was in the past. There was some overlap on venues. But we're working on that to make certain that nobody misses out on some great shows. And work a little bit more with the bars and restaurants. So if they want to have something on the outside, that they can also do it there. But bring more partners into that realm. Maybe go a little later at night, but we expect another fabulous weekend.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure we touched on it. It was just announced again, and of course, as you come back, we'll get more updates as it gets closer.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
And we'll be back, so don't go away.